Hello, Zane. Nice to see you again.
Oh no! Season 8's not over already, is it?
What? Oh no, those have all been happy coincidences. Zane, I heard it was your birthday recently, so I decided to stop by and give you something nice.
Wow, thanks. Yeah, my birthday was actually 2 weeks ago, but thanks for thinking of me.
Sure thing. Even though I think it's a little selfish to have a birthday so close to Christmas.
What?
What? Anyway, go ahead and open it. I want to see a reaction.
Oh, sure thing. You know, you've made my life a living hell these last few years, but I'll admit it was nice of you to come by and give me... The Chaperone?
Haha, gamed you again. See you later, sucker.
Remember about 10 years ago or so when Triple H was apparently a contender for the role of Thor in the Marvel movies? It sounds funny, but it's true. Apparently when Daniel Craig turned down the role in favor of his gig as James Bond, Hunter was on the short list of potential candidates. It didn't hurt that he had prior experience acting in a superhero movie playing a bad guy in Blade Trinity. It made a lot of sense at the time. You know, back then they both had long blonde hair, Triple H's weapon of choice is a sledgehammer, he has a father figure with a god complex. Perfect fit! But for whatever reason, those rumors were nothing more than that, as Chris Hemsworth eventually landed the role. It probably would have never happened anyway, but it's crazy to think about how different both the WWE and Marvel Cinematic Universes could have been if Triple H became the God of Thunder. Either way, his consolation prize was The Chaperone. Released by WWE Studios in 2011, the film tells the story of a former getaway driver who gets out of prison and tries to reconnect with his wife and daughter. As the crime world tries to pull him back in, things go awry, and now the hero has to keep his daughter, along with all of her classmates, safe from harm. It's a family-friendly comedy that, as we'll find out, is devoid of any actual comedy.
And that's not all, Zane. This week, yours truly is going to be here to occasionally chime in on this review. It's the biggest YouTube collaboration of the century. Century.
Joy! Our film opens where it belongs, in prison. There we meet Ray Bradstone, aka Ray Ray, a man who's been on the inside for the last 7 years for his involvement in a bank robbery. You can see here that Triple H has combined two of his signature looks, mid-2000s hair and current day beard. I know we all like his work in NXT, but come on, no need to depict the guy as actual Jesus. During his time in the joint, Ray has turned his life around thanks to a self-help guru whose radio show he's able to call into constantly. Sure, it's annoying, but who's gonna try and shiv the most jacked philosopher in the big house? Ray is finally released from prison and is immediately greeted by LaRue, his old partner in crime, played by Kevin Corrigan, who's been seen in a ton of stuff, including The Departed, Superbad, Pineapple Express, and The Get Down, just to name a few. As a veteran character actor, this movie seems to be right up his alley, which is too bad. Ray was LaRue's getaway driver before and was sent to prison after LaRue sold him out to the cops. LaRue wants to give Ray Ray a ride, but instead our hero up and steals his car, committing Grand Theft Auto no more than 5 minutes after leaving prison without even leaving the property? What a bright move! Ray shaves his very fake-looking beard and goes to see his ex-wife Lynn and daughter Sally, played by Modern Family's Ariel Winter. It seems as though Ray hasn't reached out to them at all for most of the time he's been away, and it shows when both Lynn and Sally are upset at his presence. Maybe he should have stopped calling into that radio show and dial up his wife a little more? While Ray's been in jail, Lynn's moved on and is dating a doctor, who naturally is the opposite of Triple H's character and appearance in every conceivable way.
Lynn and I are
Slapping your dicks together? Despite Sally making it very clear she wants nothing to do with her absentee father, Triple Ray runs up on her at school one day to further plead his case, but she's having none of it.
Come on. How about a fresh start?
Yeah, maybe you should try a fresh start in Alaska.
Holy crap, he called the new era by like 7 years. Also, am I crazy or is Sally wearing zipper tabs on her ears? Ray breaks up a fight between two boys outside the school, and the principal hardly bats an eye at the sight of this giant man he's never seen on campus before manhandling two students. We also meet one of the teachers, Miss Miller, played by Yeardley Smith, better known as the voice of Lisa Simpson.
Mr. Redstone, do you know about our school trip?
School trip.
Sally, I can't believe you haven't told your dad. How come?
This level of expression is why I usually stick to voice acting. Miss Miller tells Ray there's an upcoming field trip to New Orleans where the kids will see the dinosaur exhibit at the Museum of Art, and they're short a chaperone. Sounds kind of weird to have a science exhibit at an art museum. You couldn't put it in the nature center in town? As Ray thinks about joining up, he's approached once again by LaRue, who has one more job lined up for him. Ray emphatically refuses. We then get a sequence of scenes in which Ray goes around looking for honest work. After failing to find work at an auto shop, bafflingly applying at a vegan restaurant, and apparently trying to take Chuck's job at Buy More, he returns to his apartment to see that it's been set on fire.
Tell me about the bank.
Well, that didn't take long. If at first you don't succeed, just give up after a couple more tries. The next day, Sally's getting on the bus for her field trip. All the high school cliches are present. There's the ditzy blonde, the tech nerd, the skater guy, the pyromaniac who's got a fireworks hookup.
This is Ted, the guy who ordered the 6 boxes of cherry bombs and M80s. Okay, yeah, all right, I'll be at your store before you close.
Look, I know I already made this joke in my last film review, but seriously, keep an eye on that kid. Yes, it's a big day for Sally and her class at the school, which just happens to be right next door to the bank that Ray's helping LaRue rob. Was this city built by lazy movie writers? As Ray waits for his crew to finish the heist, he sees Sally across the street, then goes into a flashback that shows off another part of his fake facial hair phase. With that, he abandons LaRue and company, dumps the keys, and hops onto the bus to join the students on the field trip. Much to Sally's chagrin, this unannounced change is totally fine with the teacher. The baddies realize Ray has split, and they scatter as the cops arrive. One of the crew members drops the bag of money with the kid's luggage before running off and getting hit by a car. LaRue and his partner Goldie hijack another car, stop at an intersection, and just happen to see Ray riding by in the charter bus. Holy crap, you would need C-3PO to calculate the odds of that actually happening.
Never tell me the odds.
LaRue and Goldie pursue the bus, only to crash into a diaper cleaning service truck. And side note here, speaking as a parent who's done it before, if you cloth diaper your baby, the cleaning service is so nice. Ah, dirty diapers, that one was for Vince. As the bus drives on to New Orleans, a pair of detectives investigate what happened at the bank, and at this point there are just way too many characters for me to keep track of.
It's a simple question. Who was in charge? Bush or Cheney?
Not sure.
Did we just get a George W. Bush joke in this movie? Why? Meanwhile on the bus, Ray finds a way to settle down the unruly children by scaring the piss out of them.
I'm Mr. Bradstone. I'm the chaperone.
I see what you did there, movie.
Oh man, I can't believe they cut the rest of my rhymes from that scene.
Wait, there was more to it than that?
Absolutely, check this out. I'm Mr. Bradstone. I'm the chaperone. I'm bad to the bone. I got muscles like stone. Anyone seen my trombone? E.T. phone home.
As the kids begin to come around to this mysterious badass dad who rolled up on their field trip at the last minute, we cut back to the detectives on the case. They know that Ray was involved, who one of the cops has a history with.
About 7 years ago, I busted this guy. You know what the Joker says to me? Thank you, I'm gonna turn my life around. And you know what? I believed him.
I also believe the guy who sold me this fedora when he said it made me look tough. I'm far too trusting with people. The bank robber who got hurt's able to tell the detectives about the bus, as LaRue tricks the principal into giving him the trip schedule so he can follow Ray. Oh man, I just realized what this movie needs. Jokes! We are nearly halfway through this movie, and for a film that's categorized as a comedy, I don't think I've laughed one bit, at least not from something that was meant to be funny. The mood's too tense. We have all these characters and situations you'd think would be right for comedy, but there's none to be found. All I've seen so far is sadness, despair, arson, and terrible beards. But don't take my word for it, look at how they market this thing. Look at the DVD cover! Look, Ariel Winter's driving the bus. That's so crazy. The disproportionately sized goons are on top of the bus, and they have kind of a Harry and Marv vibe to them. Triple H is standing there like a goof with some photoshopped money sticking out of his pocket. And listen to the tagline and the blurb on the back of the DVD cover. Her dad did time, now he wants quality time. Now Ray must stay one step ahead of LaRue, the cops, and 30 out-of-control teenagers on one of the craziest field trips ever. That sounds like a comedy, but right now we're just being taken on this very boring journey as we hopefully get some laughs soon.
Does anybody know what modern animal is a direct descendant of the Oviraptor?
Dogs?
So you think that a Tyrannosaurus Rex is now being carried around in a little bag by Paris Hilton?
Sure, a Paris Hilton reference about 5 years past its sell-by date. How long was the script sitting in the producer's desk before it got picked up? So yeah, once they get to the museum, Ray fills in as the tour guide because the original one couldn't make it. Gosh, is there anything he can't do besides fix cars and work at a vegan restaurant, that is?
Anybody know what that means? Sally?
No clue.
Big f***ing deal.
As the tour continues, Ray locks eyes with LaRue and Goldie. After getting the class out of harm's way and pulling the fire alarm, he confronts the baddies and warns them to stay away from him and his daughter. Ray commandeers the bus before the driver gets back, and they move on to a tour of the French Quarter. I see they're walking by a place that wrestlers love. The goons catch up to Ray and they agree to a handoff, but the detectives happen to show up and the deal is nixed for the time being. Elsewhere, Sally begins to hit it off with a boy named Josh, who all we know about and all we will know about is that Sally likes him. While on the phone with her mom, Sally tries to explain that Ray's on the trip as well, but comedy finally ensues.
Did you know that my father... Honey, what?
My glasses, I can't see.
I mean, kinda. Meanwhile, the baddies enlist the help of some other baddies in town, one of whom looks like a poor man's Adam Levine. As that's going on, Ray and the kids finally arrive at their hotel, the future site of WrestleCon 2018. The bus driver, who I swore at first was Paul London, tries to figure out why Ray took his wheels.
We had plenty of time, bro.
Is there ever really enough time, Nick? I mean, honestly, what is time? Do you know what I mean? Does time really even exist, Nick? And if time doesn't exist, then there's just a moment. I had to seize that moment.
I just don't understand how that applies to...
It doesn't apply, Nick. That's the beauty of it.
Uh-huh. At this point, we see the other chaperone of the trip, who got some advice from Ray earlier in the movie, hitting it off with Miss Miller.
Come on. Come. That had better be your fanny pack.
Hey, just had to make sure, right? As a wrestler, I know a thing or two about fanny packs, sir.
And... was it a fanny pack?
It was his penis.
Ray takes a break from negotiating with LaRue to have some one-on-one time with Sally in the city. They visit a record store, and I see that Sam Roberts got a bit part in this movie. The two also have a heart-to-heart discussion about Ray's incarceration.
Everything that I learned, everything, was to find my way back to you.
Just as Ray and Sally are beginning to finally patch things up, the cops inform Miss Miller about the mysterious chaperone's criminal past, and oh, wow, look at that mugshot. That is some impressive Photoshop work there. Looks like Triple H got a side roll as one of the faces of meth. As Sally goes back to her room, we get the classic breaking news story that conveniently runs as she's walking by a TV, explaining that old Ray Ray's on the loose. Sally goes from being just regular upset for most of the movie to being super duper upset.
You are what you always were. A lying criminal.
Don't say that word.
Which one? Liar or criminal? Oops, I said it again.
Man, Ariel Winters had really bad luck with parental figures in her life, huh? Ray's able to talk Sally down and explain the situation to her. He then asks her to become an accessory to a crime by getting the duffel bag with the money from his room and bringing it down to him. From shouting at her dad and calling him a criminal to breaking the law for him. Makes sense. After Sally gets the bag, she finds out that the kids are being put on lockdown in the hotel and that the luggage is getting loaded back up into the bus.
Why are we leaving? We can't leave yet.
You tell me. My dad's a plumber.
I said the movie needs jokes, not random bullshit. The driver throws the money back into the bus. Sally gets it back, but I will bet you anything it's the wrong one, as was established in an earlier scene.
I take it back. Nothing is ever simple.
Sally gets kidnapped by LaRue and Goldie, who finally snap off some clever dialogue as Ray goes to where he thinks the meetup's supposed to go down. It's a trap, which Ray handily escapes. Ray meets up with the bad guys at a cemetery, exchanging the duffel bag for Sally's safety. Sure enough, it's the wrong bag, and the Ray man gets taken to the warehouse for bad guy stuff. Back at the hotel, Sally recruits the only other kids in this movie with dialogue for a rescue mission, including Josh the Skater Boy Dreamboat.
You've got an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
You have that app that tracks any iPhone?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that popular app that everyone knows about and has access to. The Pyro Kid uses fireworks as a distraction that allows the ragtag group of teens to make their escape as Sally drives the bus to Ray's location.
Red light!
False advertising. The DVD cover clearly has her driving a school bus. This group also includes the vapid blonde, who apparently got some shady-ass lip injections at the hotel earlier. Why? Only the writer knows.
I've spent just enough time with my father today to realize
He's not the man I thought he was.
Yeah, about a half a day seems like enough to change your mind. The kids break into the warehouse where Ray's holed up, and they suddenly have earpieces. What is happening? As they set off fireworks to distract the baddies, Big Lip Girl calls the cops. Our heroes pull some Home Alone shit to knock out Goldie, as Ray is able to call up the self-help doctor on speed dial. I guess he's such a hit in this show that his issues take priority over everyone else's as they put the phone call on the air as everything goes down. What time slot is this show on anyway? It's all over the place. The cops make the save just in time, and Ray avoids being arrested again as the whole thing was broadcast on the radio, absolving him of everything. Lynn shows up and slaps Ray a couple of times for putting Sally in danger, which is the last time you'll see Triple H putting over a woman until 2015.
A few moments later.
In the future, we see Ray going on a date with his ex-wife, who has now left the nerdy doctor, and boy, that guy's existence sure was necessary. We also discover that Ray has his own self-help talk show on the radio now, and wouldn't you know it, his first caller is LaRue.
I think the best thing for you to remember is the 3 essentials. Confront it, be truthful, and sleep with your back against the wall.
Ah, prison rape, always good for a laugh.
Well, Zane, what'd you think? Tell me what you thought about my big movie, The Chaperone.
Do you want my honest opinion?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Totally, man. Lay it on me.
Well, it sucked. Now, from a technical standpoint, The Chaperone's a perfectly fine movie. It looks good, it's shot well, all that stuff. But the problem is, the movie has no idea what it wants to be. There are comedic elements and wacky side characters, but most of them lay completely dormant until the end of the movie, and by the end we have no idea why we should care about any of them. It's too lighthearted to be a drama, but it's too boring to be a comedy. Not only that, the script is built on a mountain of tired cliches. It's a perfectly inoffensive movie, but it's also incredibly uninteresting. However, I gotta give credit to Triple H for his acting in this movie. Despite the tame script, I think he does a good job with what he was given and did fine in the role. He was caring and sensitive when he had to be, and got tough when the story demanded it. His performance was a welcome surprise in an otherwise uninspiring movie.
Yes! Score 1 for the H-Man!
Well, hey, don't get cocky. I still think the movie was crap overall. You were just the high point of it. Like getting a nice bowl of ice cream after undergoing rectal surgery.
Haha, butt jokes, good one. Hey, a win's a win, Zane. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go build the future of WWE with all those indie darlings you love so much on NXT. You're welcome. Oh, and by the way, I totally should have been Thor in those movies. And if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you. Asgard, bitches.
Be sure to thumbs up this video if you like it, comment below, subscribe to Wrestling with Regret, and buy the t-shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com. I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.
I'm Mr. Bradstone. I'm the Chaperone. For your sins you must atone. Jimmy Hart had a megaphone. The cheese stands alone. Milk strengthens your bones. Nailed it.